Wild. Okay, this season is absolutely crazy. For those of you who are new to this, I am Kyle Petty. I am one third of your favorite reality TV podcast. I know, presumptuous. I know. Strat Chat. You can find us in the socials at Strat Chat Pod. However, this is Consider Me Chuffed. Okay, this is an American take on Big Brother UK. This is our first go with it. John and Gina, my friends from Strata, they were like, forget it. We don't have time for this. And not necessarily that I do, but I'm in it and we here. So let's get into it, okay? Okay. Since the last time that we all chatted, I think that was after the Hunger Games challenge, where we saw that Chanel won immunity and Jenkin was put up for eviction, going to be facing the public vote later this week. This episode opened with a shopping task. Well, the one after the Hunger Games thing, right? Because now we got two because I did see nominations. I am at least up to date. And that's really where the meat and potatoes of this sucker is, right? It's really in these nominations. I can't wait to discuss, all of it. So the shopping task was they had these intruders and it was like in the family at the front door and people want to come in, but you've got two different pairs of people who are acting as security. They can only let one family member in. When one of these intruders was being presented, an alarm would sound. The two people that were on security detail would now rush to the camera and everybody else had to get into this plexiglass looking booth. I don't know, you're not allowed to look at your family member, not allowed to talk to them. If you can successfully pass this task with no interaction with your family member or loved one, you would get a luxury shopping budget, which they did pass. They did get the luxury budget, but not before some other interesting things happened. What really happened that was super interesting? I didn't really like this. I don't like other people being forced to now choose. You're basically like playing God in this moment, like saying who should get to see their family or loved one and who should not. Didn't like it. Totally gave me the ick. But I thought it was worth mentioning. Maddie had a major problem. Very upset with the fact that he didn't get to see his boyfriend. And I guess in all fairness to him, I think it was Trish and Chanel that came to the decision that he was not going to get to see this person because whoever they were up against, that's who they chose. But because Maddie's boyfriend was appearing via video, come on. I don't even think this was up for debate. You have somebody who is a video call and someone else who actually made a trip to be here, to be knocking so silly on the security cameras. Get the hell out of here. Let the person who actually came down be here. I understand that maybe Maddie's boyfriend does not live in the country. This is not a knock to Maddie's boyfriend. So sorry that we don't know what your name is, but certainly not a knock to this man. Just, somebody else was there and you're not. So, come on. Sorry. What I did think was interesting is that there was a situation between Olivia getting to see her sister or Trish getting to see hers. Of course, it was Tom that really spearheaded, Olivia really needs this. She needs to pick me up. And what Trish doesn't, I think that if you're going to try and compare emotional trauma to each other, first of all, it's icky to even get into that conversation because you don't know how anyone's doing about anything or with anything, right? So that's icky just to begin with. But it's extra icky because, of course, you're backing your friends, so it doesn't even really feel like this is like an unbiased thing. So, listen, I'm so tired of Tom. I don't even know what to do. You want to talk about somebody who is easily led? I really do feel like Trish may have hit the nail on the head with this one because you're still reeling over the Paul exit. It's just get it together. You got other friends in there. Just stop it. So exhausted with this guy, just absolutely exhausted. Chanel got to see her father or get a visit from her father over Noki getting to see her sister. And of course, Chanel made a whole big thing of oh, well, you were crying and blah, blah, blah. And that kind of made me feel guilty for getting to see my father. And you didn't really let me enjoy it. Honey, You got to see a family member and Noki did not. You don't get to sit here and talk about how Noki wasn't gracious enough to let you enjoy your moment. Just shut up already. Oh my gosh. Aren't we so tired of her? I am so tired of her. And honestly, it wasn't even just based on this. Like this is the catalyst for it. But like there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more. And we'll get to that in a moment. But I'm so fucking tired of Chanel. I don't even know what to do. Sick of her. Okay? Sick. But whatever. So they passed it. They got their luxury shopping budget, blah, 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 blah. And then this episode ended with a rule break. All right. We kind of saw this on the socials. Like, I think even the Big Brother UK socials had shared it, that there was another rule break and blah, blah, blah. So we knew that we were going to be coming into that. But the nomination episode opened with Big Brother's Big Dance Challenge. Once you see your name on the screen, you've got 30 seconds to run outside and go and dance to your heart's content. Successful completion of this task would mean you got a little treat. There's some kind of a little something coming for the entire house. So I enjoy tasks like this. This is fun. Kind of keeps everybody feeling good, keeps the morale up as it can be, right, in a scenario like this. So that's that. That's our first page of notes. So the rule break really came by way of a conversation between Jenkin, Chanel, and Olivia. Jenkin actually not really being the real agitator in this situation, right? It really came between Chanel and Olivia. Chanel making a comment that I can forgive, but I won't forget. And Olivia subsequently commenting that she needed to hear that, as if like this is something that like, focuses her in on what the plan is. And Big Brother said absolutely not, completely unacceptable. As a result of this, because Chanel was really just pissed at because Jenkin just went up. She's also trying to back up the fact that Paul had just left. And so she feels like her friends are dwindling. So she's basically saying, I can be cordial with certain people, but I'm going to remember how other events went down, which is not necessarily an unfair comment to make. But when you're talking about nominations, that certainly is steering the course, isn't it? Like, anyone who's close with you is going to kind of know what you're saying. They're going to be able to read between the lines. So like, you absolutely did break this rule. Trish then commented after this all came to light. She commented how Chanel's comments could be interpreted as being part of a select few, because of Jenkin's Hunger Games nomination. Because as you remember, Jenkin was in District B. So that would now be including Jordan, Jenkin, Olivia, Trish, and Yin Run. So if Chanel is making this comment, she's talking to Olivia. Obviously, it's not about Olivia. Obviously, Jenkin did not nominate himself. So the select few that Trish are referring to would be herself, Yin Run, and Jordan. But then going on further to keep saying how, she mentions the Paul thing and everything with that. Trish now felt like this was a little bit pointed at her, which I think is a rather fair assumption to make. It's a fair comment to make. Well, certainly any feelings you have are certainly validated, right? I'm not trying to say that, but like, this is just extra valid because like, it wasn't emotionally charged. Like these are truly just facts. Like, of course, this is what she's thinking. And Chanel was very dismissive in this conversation, basically saying like, oh, well, it is what it is, like as if it's not worth talking about. For someone who keeps walking around here acting as if her feelings are not being validated, this is really fresh off the heels of you now saying to Noki that, oh, I felt like I wasn't allowed to be happy about my father because how you were carrying on. And it's like, but her feelings are not valid. And like what Trish is saying here doesn't matter based on what you've already said. You're just dismissing it because it just is what it is. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of her. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Just absolutely gross, just gross. Just trying to silence her and dismiss the entire conversation. And like, we know from what we've seen, not that I've watched the feeds or anything, but I've seen enough other context of how Trish has now been conducting herself like around the house. And like, she doesn't dismiss anyone's feelings. She absolutely lets everybody speak. And then she hears it and she receives it for what it is. Even if she doesn't agree, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like she has always validated that other person and said like, listen, that's your right to feel that way. You feel that way? Okay. Like I get it. I get it. That wasn't my intention, but okay, I hear you. Chanel shutting this entire conversation down just really, really speaks to her rampant entitlement and how just really very gross she is. So there's that. But Big Brother did say that these rules were broken and Chanel and Olivia were in violation of it, which is certainly not a great shock because this conversation really ended with Jenkins saying, "You guys really should stop this conversation." So like they all knew they were wrong. Like no one even looked surprised when Big Brother was revealing this rule break. So there's that. As a result, Chanel lost her immunity. So never mind the whole Hunger Games competition. Your immunity was granted just a couple of days ago. Now it's been yanked away based on your bad behavior. And that's exactly what she deserves. This was Olivia's second time breaking this rule. And as a result, Big Brother has really had enough. She lost her nomination vote, right? So she has no right and no ability to nominate anybody in the house for eviction this week. But she also had to write 600 times that she will not break the rules. And she had to wear these shock pads too. I'm assuming she's getting zapped every couple of minutes. I don't exactly know like how often that's happening, but I'm happy it is. Shock the hell out of her. I'm so tired of her too. I'm tired of her too. Well, you know what? I was never high on Olivia to begin with. Again, ever since that whole thing with her and Jenkin in the very, very beginning when she was being put up for eviction, I in her reaction to that, I didn't like her then. There was a brief moment I was like, okay, like maybe she's tolerable, but no, I'm back on the hate train. No, no, my ticket is punched. Absolutely not. Um, all right, now to get into these nominations, I mean, these nominations really were some of the wildest things that I've seen. I guess it's best to just kind of put up the graphic here, because we have 5 people up for eviction this week, which is made even more thrilling by the fact that this week is a double eviction. So we really don't know where any of this is going to go. I'm going to start from the bottom, as I like to do. Chanel is the first person this entire season and the only person to have nominated Yin Run, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't understand that. Chanel nominated her, stating that sometimes you need to consider other people's feelings. Really, really. That is what Chanel is saying about Yin Run. You know what? I'm not even going to say any more on that. Y'all already know how ridiculous it is. I'm just going to repeat it again. Chanel said that Yin Run should be nominated for eviction, facing the public vote, because sometimes you need to consider other people's feelings. Okay, that's enough on that. Moving on to the rest of the nominations that we have here. It's so stupid. Jordan clocked 2 of them. Got one from Jenkin. Who cares? Like Jenkin doesn't even know what he's doing. Like he's just like sour grapes across the entire house. Like whatever. Maddie nominating Jordan though, I thought was interesting. Like I didn't see that coming. He didn't like how Jordan had iced him out. Because Jordan's been having a rough time managing and navigating through his feelings between the Henry and Maddie situation. And again, I thought Maddie's response to this was even interesting too. Like Maddie put him up for eviction, or wanted to nominate him anyway for eviction, and said that he understood his motivation behind wanting to ice him out, kind of putting that distance up. But he said, you know what? I'm just too sensitive. I can't handle that. Even that was emotionally mature, when I still feel as if, I don't know, like, shouldn't be making excuses for people. Like, what do you mean you understand it? Like, you understand the motivation behind it, but like, I don't know. Sounds like you're trying to be really nice here. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. If you iced me out for a couple of days, that's sending me a very specific message, and I'd have to just put you up, and I'd have no shame about it. Absolutely not. No shame. Tom picked up 2. Surprise, there's only 2. That came from Noki and Trish. Not a big shock there. Do I have any quotes there? No. I do have notes on Noki though. Noki's nomination. She's got 3. She picked up 3. from Henry, Tom, and Yin Run. Yin Run had voted for Noki because she felt like she did not stand next to Trish during all the drama when Trish was really standing up for Noki. I agree with this. I actually think that's very, very fair. I told you before, really wasn't too jazzed that Noki behaved this way. If somebody else is standing up for you, then I don't understand why you're remaining silent. Totally unacceptable. I really don't care that Tom put Noki up. Tom's an idiot. Henry, I don't even remember Henry's reasoning for this, but I would also call bullshit on it. Olivia got 3. Surprise, there's only 3. That came from Henry, Jordan, and Maddie. That's fine with me. Olivia sucks. Trish got 3, which I don't like it, but I'm not surprised by it. When you look at the people who did it, it was Chanel, Jenkin, and Tom. These are people who are not ever going to give her a proper shot. But most importantly, Tom. Tom is like, I just felt like she wasn't listening to me, like my feelings didn't matter. I wouldn't say that that's so, at least from the interactions that we've seen. I feel like Trish heard you out, and simply because she didn't agree doesn't mean she tossed your feelings aside. Should I say that again for the people in the back? Simply because somebody does not agree with your opinion does not mean they have pushed your opinion aside. They don't have to agree with you to say that I understand where you're coming from. And I feel like that is part of the disconnect here. Okay, so fuck you, Tom. So after after that, I can't stand the Trish slander. I can't do it. But slander I do enjoy is on Chanel. And she caught the most nominations by way of Jordan, Noki, Trish, and Yin Run. Obviously, like none of those are super surprising to me. Certainly made good sense. Certainly made good sense. There were a couple of people who have been making comments that they feel like Noki is floating from group to group. And like, oh, she's over here. And then the next day she's kind of hot on us, and she's cold, and she goes back and forth. I think that Noki is in a tough situation in this house, because I think that she does feel that she shares a kinship with the Foul Four, right? I'm sure she doesn't know that that's what they're called, but the Foul Four being, Chanel, Olivia, Tom, and Jenkin, especially because, she's been sharing a bed with Olivia. I don't even know that that's still going on. But I think that she does feel like she shares a kinship with them, but their actions and behavior has not really supported that, right? So Noki, I feel like, is now kind of moving over to the other side of the house and like that other group of people, because she just feels a little bit more comfortable around those people. But that doesn't mean that that old feeling of friendship and kinship is just gone simply because you had a few bad behaviors. So I'm sure there were varying times during the day and during the week where you're like, oh, I look at you and I still feel like we share a closeness, but and then I'm reminded that, oh, you know what? No, it's not like it used to be. So I'm going back over here. So something that you're reading as hot and cold may just be like, oh gosh, I don't know where to be. So I kind of feel bad for her because I feel like she's really just stuck in between two different sides. But, so there's that. After the nominations were revealed and Trish now found out that she was up for eviction, she made a comment really outwardly to the entire group saying that she's got more haters in here, like in the house, than she does out there, outside. And of course, Olivia is the first one to kind of jump on this, saying that she thought that was a strange and interesting comment to make, being that, she didn't have the power to nominate this week. So like, she didn't know where that came from. Why are you even commenting on it? If you didn't have the right to nominate, then you know that Trish is not talking about you. But the fact that you said that and you felt the need to defend a comment that was made to the entire group tells me that you feel guilty. Right? I mean, like, what are you even responding to? She wasn't talking to you. She said that to the entire group. Unless I missed something. It sounded like that was for the entire group. I don't know why she felt the need to stand up for herself in that moment, but that also then suggests to me that like you're doing something wrong. You've done something wrong, and like you feel funny about it. So I don't know. So there's that on that. That's kind of how these nominations ended. So facing the public vote this week is Jenkin. He was already facing it thanks to the Hunger Games failure. After that, we have Chanel, Trish, Olivia, and Noki. This is a double eviction week. I would like to say, let's get behind voting for Chanel and Jenkin to leave the house. That's what I want. Olivia, I feel like there's still a little bit of hope with her. Like, she could maybe rehabilitate some of herself. She's not going to win, and she doesn't deserve to be standing in the end. But I think she's the most pliable of those people. Jenkin and Chanel. Oh my gosh, that was the other thing. Jenkin had nominated Trish because she wasn't super receptive to his truce. And like, what is that even? Like, she was very, very clear as far as why that happened. First of all, okay, when you are proposing that truce, you are proposing it to Trish and Yin Run, saying like, hey, like, let's have a clean slate, blah, 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 blah. However, Yin Run just walked away. She didn't say a single word, but you didn't toss the nomination her way. You tossed it at Trish, where Trish's response was, listen, I'm just not sure that I can trust this. I feel like we've been here before. We've said these things before, and you didn't back it. You still stabbed me in the back later on. So like, what am I supposed to do with this really? When someone is saying to you that, hey, I hear you, I hear what you're proposing, but I just don't trust it right now. I don't trust it, and I don't trust you. Your next response should be to kind of reassure them a little bit, give them a little bit of something. And he didn't in this moment. He just said, you know what, that's fair, I get it. Well, then all you're really doing in that moment then is you're kind of validating everything that I said. All the insecurities that I said that I had with you, I feel like you're signing off on when like, you don't like defend it at all. Like, it's just so weird. I don't know why these people think they can just run around offending everyone, and then because I've now decided that it should be over, now it's over. No, you still have to atone for your sins, right? You need to now make amends with these people, and like just a quick I'm sorry, and like, let's wipe the slate clean. It's almost like you're trying to force yourself into a situation where you are no longer accountable. You're no longer being held accountable for your behaviors and things. And oh my gosh, it just further confirms how fucking done I am with these people. So if there's any way that y'all can get, because I don't have access to the BBUK app. Okay, I'm an American. I can't get it on my phone. But if I could, I'd be splitting my votes between Chanel and Jenkin, because they are just, honestly, at this stage, just deplorable. So sick of them. So sick. Well, that's it. Really. That's how the episode ended. Those are all my thoughts. Thank you so much for the comments that you guys have been leaving on the YouTube videos and everything like that. I love the engagement. I love the back and forth. I'm certainly providing a lot of context for me. Filling in some of the blanks and just, how, this game is played, because it certainly is different than what I'm used to. Obviously, we've got the public vote on Friday. I'll be doing another one of these over the weekend after that's done, so we can give our thoughts and recap over how that stuff went. If you're interested in anything else that Strat Chat is doing, we're live on Mondays and Thursdays. Obviously, we're wrapping up Big Brother 25. Thank goodness it's finale week, right? So much Big Brother. What else are we doing? The Challenge 39, we're doing that on Thursdays as well. We're doing Survivor 45. That's on Mondays with our good friend Mikey. And we're also doing Big Brother Australia. We haven't quite figured out when we're doing the recaps for those, but we are now working with Channel 7 Australia, and we are going to be doing post-eviction chats with each person as they leave the game. So that's super exciting. The first one is already up. Unfortunately, we saw our girl Kwan leave the house first. That exit interview is already up. You can find it on all our socials at Strat Chat Pod, or you can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, however you like to receive your podcasts. All right, but until next time, thanks for hanging, and I'm out of here.